Hi, this is Karen Burns from the Center for Instructional Technology with the Office of Information Technology. Today we are going to take a look at People.ua.edu. This is the second part of our tutorial. Whenever you first log into the site editor, you begin by getting to what is called your dashboard. And on the dashboard should look similar to what you see on the screen here. You have at the very top, you have the name of your website, and then right underneath it says Insights. Once your website is published, you will begin to see analytics to your website. Weebly monitors and keeps up with how many page views you have, the top pages or the top search terms, a few things like that to help you take a look at your site and analyze if you're truly reaching the audience that you're looking for. Maybe all of the pages are being accessed as much or as frequently as what you would like them to be. Weebly offers a lot of insights, but because it doesn't offer quite as much as Google Analytics, we also add Google Analytics to your website. Once it's published, we will add Google Analytics to your website. That is why we asked for your Gmail address whenever you submitted the request for the website. With Analytics, we will add you as a user to the account, and so you can go in and look at extensive amounts of information about your website, like the main search terms again, but you'll be able to see what browsers people use to access your site, from what country, what city they are accessing the site, the browsers they use, just a ton of information about your users and how they are accessing your website. You will get that information once the site is published. I will send you a follow-up email to explain that to you. Okay, so enough about that. Let's get in and edit the site. If you will click on the Edit Site button on your website, we will move along. I expect this to be a hands-on interaction, so hopefully you're able to navigate the your device monitor so that you can watch this tutorial as well as interact with your own website. Okay, let's just get a layout of what we're looking at here. Don't worry about the theme if your theme is different than mine. They all operate essentially the same way. So at the very top of your website, you will see you have different headings. You have Build, which is where we're going to build your website, obviously. The Pages tab is going to let us add pages, delete, copy pages to the site. You don't have a Theme tab, and we intentionally turn that off because UA is paying for your website. Therefore, we want it to look like a UA website. Weebly offers a ton, or maybe not a ton, that's exaggerating. Weebly offers several other types of themes, and they do not look at all like UA. Therefore, we have taken 6 of their themes and we have customized them to have the UA look and feel. And so we therefore turn off the Themes tab for all of our clients. That's good and that's bad. It's good for that reason that you do maintain the same look that we want you to have in the theme. But let's say if you want to have larger font text or a larger title text, you can manually change that one at a time. But if you will contact our office, we can make that change for you globally, so you don't have to do it just one step at a time. And that function is found on the Theme tab, which you don't have access to. Okay, so settings, we are going to go in and make a few changes to the settings. Now I will divide this training up into multiple videos so you don't have to sit through a long video. This will make it easier for you to navigate, but we will cover each of these things in the videos. So starting with this Build tab. On the left-hand side, you see we have the title, text, images. All of these are called elements. And we're simply going to click on one, we're going to drag it and drop it onto the page. It's as simple as that. There's no coding. So before we do, I want you to take a look. My mouse now is kind of navigating around the white area of my page. And you see that when I get over some of the text in the body of my site, I get a blue box around it. It's very important that you learn how to hover first before you click. I'm only hovering. Okay, if I come into over my text and if I click now, I left click into this box, now you see that this area is selected and I have options here of some changes that I can make. We're going to cover each of these very quickly. It's a lot like if you were using Microsoft Word or some other word editing text tool. If I highlight some of my text first, you'll see I can make it bold, italicize, or underline. Those are pretty obvious, right? The plus sign is how I increase the font. Notice I'm not typing in 10 point, 12 point, 14 point font. I'm just clicking the plus sign. And then I click the minus to decrease the font size. I'll leave it large right now so you can see it easily. So this is how I would change color with the A. Notice when I click on the drop down, I get a variety of colors, and I could even come in and type in my hexadecimal numbers if I know which one I'm looking for. The University of Alabama's Crimson Web color is 99 and 4 zeros. And there you see the color. I'll just click out of this box. Now you see that I have bold, underlined, italicized, crimson text. I'm going to highlight it again and keep moving. I'll skip this chain link for right now. And this is my justification or my alignment. I clicked on the centered, and notice it's not just the text that I had highlighted that's centered, it's all of the text within this text box. The way Weebly functions is a lot like Legos. That's how I kind of think about them. So it's just stacking Legos on top of each other. I'm stacking the blocks, these elements, on top of each other. If I want some text left aligned, then I will drag on a text block, make it left aligned. And then I can make 1 or 2 lines. I just keep dragging my blocks on top of each other. All right, I'm going to go back to the left. This is the bulleted list. Notice I have one bullet. I cannot change the size of it. I can't change the color of it. Nothing about that. There is no hierarchy. I can hit enter. And if I hit tab, it does indent a level, but it does not change the appearance. I'm going to highlight all of that again and click on the numbers. There are my numbers. I cannot change the hierarchy of that. I cannot change the look or the color. Very simple, very basic. Keep in mind this is a content management system. It's not desktop publishing, right? But there are other ways to kind of handle the bullets and the numbers, and I'll show you some tricks on that later. So now if I hit my TX, that's going to remove all of the formatting that I just did, except for the numbering. That's a toggle on and off. But if I do the undo one step at a time, or I could redo, I will highlight it all again and do the TX. Now you notice that it removed all of the changes except for the bullets, and I'll just turn those off. So the TX is very good to remove all of the formatting. Let's say if you have a great deal of type already or text already typed in Microsoft Word, for example, you want to highlight all of that text, copy it, you can come right over into your Weebly account and paste it. It works great. It brings over everything, even the hyperlinks often. So then you could highlight all the text, click on the TX to remove all the formatting. That will take it to the default formatting for that site so that you don't have multiple types of font and sizes and a variety of things in there. It doesn't look all mixed up. That's great. However, if you are bringing over text that includes, say, publications that are underlined or italicized, all of that's going to go away as well. So you want to be careful about using the TX feature. All right, I'm going to click out of this now. Just to get out of this dialog box, you click in the left or the right margin or even in the bottom margin area. And so now we have edited that text. Let's go up here to the top and let's just drag some on. So please practice along. I'm going to click a title, and I'm left clicking and holding that left click or the left mouse button down and dragging it into the white area of the page. The blue bar, you notice I'm kind of making it move around here. That blue bar tells me where my text is going to actually land, or my title. I want it to go at the bottom for right now. So I just let go, and it says click here to edit. I hover, you see it does have that blue bar or the blue outline. I'm going to click in that and just type title 2. Click out of that, and come grab some text, dropping that on, and I'll just put in some dummy fake text. So now I have title, text, a title, and text. That's the main thing you're going to actually use on your website. How about an image? Let's grab that. Here's an image. I'm going to drag it on as well. Now notice it tries to go, as I move it around, you see the square in that paragraph. If I were to let it go there, then the image would go to the left and all of the text would actually wrap around that. I'm not going to do that just yet. I'm going to bring it all the way down to the bottom. Whoops, I right-clicked by accident. You'll learn that right-click does not work. It says upload an image, so I click. Upload a photo from your computer. I'm going to do that in a moment, but I will show you first the search. If you search for images, Weebly looks at Flickr, F-L-I-C-K-R, Flickr.com. That is a photo database collection where anyone can upload images. If you mark those images that are uploaded as public, then Weebly allows you to download and use those, and it does give attribution in the footer to the person that uploaded it, or to the username that uploaded. So it is a nice feature. I'm going to click back over to my computer, upload from my computer. I'm going to upload this image of a girl. Now the image has uploaded, you see. And my particular image is not very large. We can still see it on the screen. And whenever I just hover over the image, you see I have a blue square in the bottom right hand corner. Hovering over that tells me to resize the image, get the double arrowed icon, and I can click and drag that in or out. Kind of jumpy on my particular mouse here. So I can resize it manually like that. I think I was on the very edge of my mouse pad there. Let's try this again. Oh, it's still quite jumpy. It doesn't like to get very small. Okay, so that is my image resized just manually. If I click on the image, if I left click on the image, then I get this dialog box. You'll begin to see the dialog boxes as you're adding different elements onto the page. That's important that you realize that clicking will give you different information. Okay, we'll go through each of these. So here's the edit image. This is a very basic image editor. If you really want to do editing, please use Photoshop or some other more professional tool. But you can crop, change filters, adjust, you can add text or focus. I won't cover all of those. I will look at the crop because that's a common feature. And just simply dragging the left or right hand corners of the image. Notice when I do that, I also have the exact size in pixels of my image. There is not a way to type in what size you want, but you can click and do kind of a guesstimation of that. To get back out of that, I click my little left arrow key. I'm happy with those changes, so now I click Save, and my image has been resized. I'm going to click it again. Replacing the image is a nice feature. If you have a picture in place, you have text maybe wrapped around it or other content, but then you decide you need to replace that image with something else, but you want to keep that same place. Simply choose Replace Image, and your new image will fall into it using pretty much the same size as what you had there before. And it's not exact, but it is pretty close to the same size. So it is a helpful feature to have. The light box is a toggle on and off. If it's blue, it's on. When it's gray, it is off. What the light box feature does is if I have uploaded, let's say, a much larger image of maybe scenery, and I have reduced it down though to be a lot smaller to fit into my screen. If I turn the light box on, when the person or the user clicks on the image itself will jump up and become much larger, the original size that I uploaded it. And then if the user clicks again, the image goes back to the thumbnail or the smaller version like we have here. That's the light box feature. You'll see it in action a little bit later whenever we talk about galleries. The link, I'm going to omit this one right now, and then we'll talk about alignment. That's pretty obvious, left centered or right. Notice we have a dragging scroll bar, a dragging scroll bar here. So here's the spacing. Spacing is the margins, top, bottom, left, and right, in increments of 10 pixels each. So you notice it gets larger and smaller. Navigate back, scroll back down. Caption. I can add a caption if I would like, but I don't have to. The caption is what the sighted user will see. My caption is right aligned because my image is right aligned. If I center it, I'm back to being centered again. You don't have to have a caption. This is not alt text, and people oftentimes confuse it with alt text. It is not. Here is the advanced. This is a border option. I'll just make a thick one so you can see. And navigate back. I have a choice of either gray or black. I'll make it black so we can see it. And this is the alt text. The alt text field name is here. Picture is the default alt text. In this case, I will simply say this is Betty Sue. Notice I did not say picture of Betty Sue. The screen reader will already announce picture or image, so saying picture of is just redundant. Click to come back, and then I click out, and my image is complete. So we have talked about titles, text, and images. Those are the three main features of your website, the main things you're going to actually use. Practice kind of moving them around a little bit to get comfortable with them. We're going to do that now. So we're going to turn this into two columns. I'm going to demonstrate. There's no absolute right or wrong way of doing this. You'll have to kind of get comfortable with how you move the elements around. I do recommend that you use a mouse. It's much easier than a trackpad, which I am using a mouse. Okay, I'm going to get this into two columns. Notice these are sections. I'm going to start by grabbing my title down here, and I'm dragging it to the right. First thing you see is the blue bar to the right. It's long, meaning it's going into that long paragraph. I want it to go beside that small title, so I'm going to drop it here. Hovering lets me see I have two columns perfectly spaced. I'm going to grab this handle and drag and push it up a little bit until I get that shorter horizontal line. Indicates it's in that left column. Yep, in the left column. Now I'm going to grab this one and drag it up to the right. There we go. And now I'm going to grab my image and push it up here to the right. So I don't have to worry about trying to get it right under. I'm looking at my mouse and watching that line. There we go. So hovering lets me see that I have two perfectly spaced columns here. Now, I recommend that you pause the video here and you practice getting all of your content into two columns. Just practice playing around, dragging and dropping. If it doesn't work right the first time, drag the element somewhere else and then try it again. All right, let's move on now when you're ready. And notice that hovering gives me this horizontal or vertical line. It's invisible when I come out, but whenever I hover in it, it is there. Hovering right over that line, I get double arrows. I can hold my left mouse button and drag to the left or to the right, and my column now changes. It's snapping as I move it. I can't control that, but if you look at the very bottom right-hand corner of your screen, it says hold shift to disable snapping. So with my left mouse button down, I hold my shift key, and now I can drag in any increment that I like. So I'm going to make a wide left column and a narrow right column. Much better. You can continue to add titles, text, pictures, whatever you like into multiple columns within the columns even. There's no limit to how many columns you can have other than the space that you have to put them in. Another function of my columns, if I, instead of clicking and holding, if I just left click and let go onto that vertical invisible, not so invisible line, then I do get this dialog that says columns, and it tells me my spacing. So I have 15 pixels between each one. I can make that wider or reduce the amount of space between my columns all the way down to 0. There are times that you might want to adjust that a good bit. I can click out again. Also, if I click on that line, notice that everything in here is in one big square, one big element. If I wanted to delete everything on this, I could click this X once it becomes red. I could choose delete, and it says you will delete 5 elements within the columns. You want to, yes or no, or yes, delete it, cancel. I'm not going to do that, but I just wanted you to know that as a feature, that you could delete them all at one time, or I could delete just one at a time. If I choose delete, it will just go away. Okay, that's the main basic elements. That's how you get started: text, title, and image.